up, guys? Schmitty here. Welcome back to another video, and today I want to talk more about Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and kind of some of the hate that it's getting right now, as well as talk about how Call of Duty is changing. Now, as you guys know, Black Ops 4 was revealed just a few days ago at the Black Ops 4 Community reveal event. We got our first look on the multiplayer trailer, the zombies trailers and cutscenes, as well as the Battle Royale trailer and kind of introduction into that. And later on that day, we got to see some actual raw footage of the pre-alpha version of Black Ops 4's multiplayer. I don't think really to anybody's surprise, as well as kind of what happens every year, there were some mixed reviews. A lot of people liked what they saw right off the bat, others were a bit skeptical but willing to try it out, and others just are immediately dismissing this game and saying it's the worst COD ever automatically without even playing it yet. Which, it shouldn't come as a surprise to me because this happens every single year with every Call of Duty. But I guess for some reason it just is taking me a bit by surprise, and it's just kind of confusing to me. One of the big reasons for this is, the other part of the video is that Call of Duty is changing. And for a lot of people, this is a scary thing, but at the same time, this is a franchise that has been around and has released a game every single year for the last 15 years. And to me, the fact that they're taking Black Ops 4 this year and changing the stuff that we've known for well over the last 10 years, they're bringing a whole new idea and thought process and new creativity into bringing something different in this game that we haven't seen in Call of Duty yet. To me, that excites me, and I'm ready to see more and just kind of start this new evolution of Call of Duty. A lot of people were hoping that this year with Black Ops 4, things would return to how they were back in the day. Back in like the Black Ops 2 era, people wanted a game similar to that, and a lot of people nearly identical to that style of game. The problem with that is that does absolutely nothing for Call of Duty in a day and age where they need to do something for Call of Duty. Fortnite's taken over the landscape, there's other multiplayer shooters that have come out and evolved and done extremely well, and Call of Duty's just been kind of stuck in this process of not really getting too creative or not bringing anything that new to their game when it releases every year. Now this year, they're finally doing that. First of all, they're not doing a campaign this year, which has upset a lot of people. And I can very much understand that because I am in the statistical minority of people that don't really play campaign, and I know people get upset every time that gets brought up that there's a minority of people and that the people that do play campaign are in the minority, but statistically that's 100% true. So many games now, especially games like Call of Duty and a lot of other games that have multiplayer, are nearly 100%, usually over 90% driven by their multiplayer, and that is especially true for Call of Duty. And for them as a creative process, and as little of percentage of their players that play that mode, for them, it just doesn't make any sense. I know a lot of people want to see campaign, and I wanted to see a campaign too. We're still getting some story-driven narrative with zombies as usual, but as well with the specialist characters in the game, so we still will have something like that in there, but there will not be a full-fledged campaign this year. And I understand that this upsets a lot of people, but imagine it like this. Imagine you guys being the creators of this game, and you pour your heart and your soul and everything into making as good of a story as you can, going out and getting all these actors and voice actors and all these people to try and put this great story and great narrative together. It's a large portion of their budget that they put out. It's a huge portion of their development time that goes into campaign. And you get their game out there, and it's so exciting, and you want to see what people think of it, and you know, less than 5% of your population plays all that stuff that you put your heart and soul into. For them, it does not make any sense, and this is not a pure just BR bandwagon move. Like I said, I'm in that statistical minority of people that actually play the campaign every single year, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice because I know deep down that I play multiplayer and all these other modes way more than I play campaign. And so I'm willing to make that sacrifice and give up that portion of stuff that I play to get more stuff in the long run and get that replayability in things like multiplayer, in things like zombies, even though I don't get into that too much, and of course with the new Battle Royale. It's something that sucks, and I don't want to see it go, but if it means more content for us and more replayability throughout the year rather than just a 5-6 hour session, for me, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. Modern Warfare 4 is coming out next year. It's going to have a campaign. You guys will be able to get that then when that comes out. It's something that sucks, but when you look at it, and if you're being truthful with yourself, it makes a lot of sense. Don't let your feelings and stuff get in the way of the fact that this makes way too much sense. The other thing I see a lot is that the game looks similar to Black Ops 3. I really don't understand why this is a hate thing, because gee, it's almost like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 are made by the same development team, and that Black Ops 4 is a direct sequel to Black Ops 3. So it's almost like they should look similar. Huh. No, but seriously, like, I don't get this at all, and I feel like this was done on purpose for a familiarity thing, because with all the core gameplay changes to things like multiplayer and bringing a battle royale, no campaign, all this stuff, when you're making those kind of changes, you want to keep some familiarity to the franchise. So for them, maybe keeping the art style of Black Ops 3 and putting in the feel of Black Ops 2 style movement and gameplay was their way of keeping familiarity in a game that they're changing a lot of components of in the multiplayer. And of course, that's the last thing I want to cover today, is the changes that they are making to MP this year. Look, as I've stated in the video, Call of Duty's changing, and it has to change. We cannot come out here and keep getting games that we've gotten over and over for so long within the last 10 years. I think the things that serve as a prime example of that are things like Modern Warfare Remastered, and this year with COD World War II. COD World War II, its whole design and its whole mission statement was to go back to traditional Call of Duty style. And as we saw, it brought a lot of hype, and a lot of people were excited for it, but the excitement and the playtime for it really only lasted about a month or two. And I know a lot of people like to pin this just purely on the developers and say it's 100% their fault, and there's nothing that us as players could ever have done wrong with this. The bottom line is, whether you realize it or not, is you're bored of that style. I promise you. Not everybody. Now, I know this doesn't go for everybody, but if you're one of those people that got bored of World War II, I'm telling you, you're bored of this same old Call of Duty style, whether you realize it or not. I'll give you guys this. Black Ops 3 is by far my most played Call of Duty. Like, it blows the 1 second to it. It more than doubles it. And I feel like a large reason to that is when we got to Black Ops 3, there was a lot of changes to multiplayer as opposed to things we had seen in the past few years before. We brought in things like this momentum-based movement system, which I know a lot of people aren't a fan of, but nonetheless, it was a change. They brought in specialists for the first time, which just totally changed the whole pacing and the tactical play of the game. And so I feel just purely on that, it gave a whole new, like, replayability factor to it, and it just wasn't the same old thing over and over. I feel like that's gonna happen again with Black Ops 4, assuming people actually give it the time of day, is with a lot of these changes and implementations in the Rainbow Six Siege-style elements, and some as well Overwatch-style elements. I feel like bringing these elements into the game is going to give it a fresh feel. From everything I've heard from people who have played, and I have talked directly to people that have played the game, it feels like Call of Duty. But there's just that new element to it, those new elements that they're bringing from other games to give it that fresh new feel. Now, I want to put out there, I'm not trying to sell Black Ops 4 to anybody. I could really care less if anybody watching this ends up playing Black Ops 4. I'm going to get the game, I'm going to play the game, most likely I'm going to enjoy the game. If I get my hands on it, it's not my thing, then, you know, we'll go from there, but I'm highly expecting to enjoy this game this year. And I'd highly recommend that you guys give it a chance, because from everything I've heard and from people that I have directly talked to, this game is something that you have to get your hands on to really understand. And I want to address a couple things that people are saying about this multiplayer to kind of put it in perspective. One of the things I hear all the time is, well, we didn't ask for these new elements to come in the game. We didn't ask for manual healing. We didn't ask for Overwatch and Rainbow Six style elements to come into our multiplayer. Let me bring up a few other things that people didn't ask for back in the day that are now in Call of Duty multiplayer. Pick 10. Nobody asked for this back in the Modern Warfare series or even the first Black Ops. This is something that changed the entire way that we create our class. It's now become a staple in the Call of Duty franchise. Score streaks. Nobody asked for this back in the day when we had kill streaks. They brought it to Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It is something that has stayed in Call of Duty since then. This is just one of a lot of things that Call of Duty has brought over the years to us that we didn't directly ask them to. My point is, just because it wasn't asked for doesn't mean it can't be brought into the game and be a good thing. Now, I'm well aware that everything that has been brought into the Call of Duty franchise, not all of that has stuck. But new things have to be tried and attempted to be implemented into the games for them to keep fresh, because Call of Duty can't just put out the same thing year after year and compete. They have to change stuff up, and for this year, which, like I've said multiple times in multiple videos, this is going to be one of the biggest gaming years in history. They've got to stand out and do something different this year. This other thing is the last thing I see so much with this new change to multiplayer. People saying all the time, well, if I wanted to play Rainbow Six, then I would play that. Don't bring these elements into the game. If I wanted to play Overwatch and manually heal myself, I would play Overwatch. I want a Call of Duty like we had in the past. Well, look, to those people I say this. If you want to play a Call of Duty like you had in the past, go play the past Call of Duties. We're not in that day and age anymore. If you want to get that style of gameplay back, and that's the type of style in Call of Duty that you want to play, go play those games. That's what they're there for. It's like watching your favorite content creators or listening to your favorite music artists. If you want to listen to those certain things that they put out back in the day that were great, go listen to those projects. Go watch those videos. That's what they're there for. Certain things are not meant to be recreated and put out there over and over and over years and years of time. Things are meant to evolve and things are meant to change. That's just the reality of life, and especially here with video games and what we're seeing in Call of Duty. We cannot keep getting the same thing every year. I'm excited for these changes. I want something new and something fresh. I feel like this game is going to be the perfect mix of old traditional stuff and the style of gameplay that we're used to in Call of Duty, as well as a bunch of new elements that are going to keep the game fresh and make me want to keep playing. And what's really going to separate this from every other Call of Duty that I've bought for like the last 10 years. I hop on COD World War II now and I'm just like, nothing's new. Nothing is there for me that feels different from what I've done in past years in Call of Duty. I'm excited for this change. I'm excited for something new, and I'm very open-minded to it. I'm hoping they can do it right, and I'm very convinced that they can. But that's the big thing, is people have to be open-minded to this stuff. If you get your hands on the game, if you play the beta, or maybe later on in October you purchase the game, and it's not your thing, and you just don't feel that you can enjoy Call of Duty anymore, then that's your thing. But it doesn't mean COD is dead. It doesn't mean RIP COD. It doesn't mean COD is not listening to the people in the community. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. It just means you as a person do not feel connected to the franchise anymore, and it's just not a game that you enjoy anymore, and that is perfectly okay. But the fact of the matter is the franchise has to evolve from what it was back in the day. It cannot be the same thing 10 years later that it was 10 years ago. Even if they were to 100% totally remodel a game after something like Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 2, it still would not bring you the same feel that you had back in the day. Those feelings that you have about those games are majority nostalgia, I promise you. You are tied to those games and those events based on way more than just what the games were and whether they were good or not. A game like Modern Warfare 2 would not do well in today's day and age. You may enjoy that game and you may have very fond memories of that game and things that you love about that game, and that is totally fine. But the fact of the matter is, a game released like that game is today would not work. Things have to change. Things have to be implemented. And just because things change in Call of Duty and they may not right off the bat be exactly what you want, it doesn't mean RIP COD, and it does not mean that COD does not listen to their community. They have to implement new stuff, and they have to try and grow as well. They can't just listen to us core fans, or the diehard fans, or the new fans, or whatever. They have to try and grow and attract new people to Call of Duty as well. I don't think people realize that. Call of Duty has not reached everybody. I know that we kind of think that it has, and that Call of Duty doesn't have to try and compete, but they do, and they still want to bring in new people to the franchise. They're still trying to grow. They're still trying to become bigger. They are not done. It's like when your favorite YouTubers try different games or try and do videos in a different style than they've done in the past. It's not because they don't care about the core fans. It's because they're trying to bring in new people too, and the people that enjoy it for what it is no matter what will still be there in the long run. And that's exactly how we have to look at Call of Duty this year. Bottom line is, if you're truly a Call of Duty fan, give this game a chance. If you get your hands on it and it's just not your thing, or whether you're stubborn and you just don't want to try it out at all, whatever it may be, that's fine. But don't just pin all the blame on the developers because they don't listen to the community. Don't pin it on COD has lost its soul and it just doesn't have an identity anymore. COD has to try and grow and evolve. It can't be the same thing over and over like it has. It has to change. It has to become something different. If it's not your style, don't play the game. But damn, you're wasting your time if you're just coming onto YouTube videos talking about Black Ops 4 saying RIP COD, COD doesn't have a soul, all this other crap. Just leave it alone. I feel like I have to have this conversation and like everybody has to go over this stuff every year, but man, I just don't know why people don't get it. Anyway, look, I'm going to keep talking about Black Ops 4. I'm very hyped for Black Ops 4. I think it's going to be a good year for COD. If you guys want to be along for the ride, great. If not, you're not feeling COD this year, whatever. Sorry this video is a bit longer, but I just felt I had to address some of the stuff with Call of Duty. That's my thoughts on all the stuff that's going around right now. Sorry this video ends up being a little bit longer, a little bit of a rant, but it just bugs me that people don't understand this stuff and can't grasp this stuff about Call of Duty and honestly life in general. And we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I've got some exciting stuff revolving around Black Ops 4 that I will be able to reveal when the time comes. It should be within the next few days or so. If you guys are hyped and you enjoyed today's video, make sure to smack the Schmidt out of the like button down below. And if you guys are new, looking forward to more Black Ops 4 content here on the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and turn those notifications on so you guys know when those videos go live. Hope you guys all have a good one. I will see you guys on another video. So long, everybody.